soon for sports.
Keeping Score with Jess and Dean, the Dream.
It is Sunday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Are you changing to green later?
Yes, I actually do have a green t-shirt because I'm broadcasting live at Ladder 133.
Big time
Kitchen
in
and
Atlanta.
Social. Yeah, so I'm going to be there noon to 2.
Yeah.
You want to come by for a green beer?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm not during the show, after, like,
Right.
2:01.
All right, so let's see. Keeping Score, then
Yep.
10 on Sunday,
Yep,
and then ladder.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's
That is a lot for you.
To get through.
Yeah.
Big night tonight. Selection committee at 6 o'clock. The NCAA picks their top 68.
Yeah, you may need a nap.
I hate to say top 68 because you got some of those weak conferences. I'm not being down on teams, but that's just the way it is. And some of those teams are just getting in because they won those weak conferences. So you're not really getting the best 68, but that's the the philosophy and that's the protocol as far as picking the teams that go.
Well, that's like also in football. Like, you could be in the playoffs and you're 8-8. Like, you could be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, it's just a weaker,
that's true.
a weaker division.
Yeah.
So that's how it happens. But then they get out. So whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, those 1 versus 16s. I mean, it's fun to see, like, oh, can they pull
Yeah,
it off? The
and then
miracle, but no, reality usually sets in. But it's the greatest. It's the greatest 3 weeks of the year. I said that the other day.
Yeah.
And
How was your week off, by the way?
It was nice. It was it was peaceful.
Yeah, we went to the Rhode Show. We were excellent.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it. You were recognized at the bank.
Oh, yes. I was. I literally went home after the Rhode Show, didn't change up, had to go to the bank, and so I was just one thing after another. And the lady, I'm walking out, she's like, "You were just on TV." I'm like, I joked at first. I'm like, "No, you got me mixed up with someone else." She's like, "No, I don't." She's like, "You had that shirt on." I said, "No, it was me. It was me. I got a great face for radio."
Oh my God, how funny.
It was a really good time. Thanks to everyone at the Rhode Show, and Brendan was terrific. That was a good time.
No,
but as far as the vacation itself, it's been peaceful. I've had some. I stayed in mostly early in the week. Just started to amp it up as the week kind of evolved.
Yep.
I got to see my goddaughter. I picked up something from a Barbie. She's into the whole Barbie thing.
Obviously.
From the movie and everything. And
Yeah.
like a big set. The box was huge. I happened to see it in Walmart, and I'm just like, I had to have it for her. So I delivered it to her, and she was so happy.
Oh, that's nice.
I got to see her playing at halftime of the PC UConn game last Saturday at the Amp.
Oh, great.
Her and her 2 sisters are all playing at
scrimmage.
the halftime show. So it was no, actually dance.
Oh,
so they were, so they
very
were,
nice.
So they were dancing. So I just felt like she deserved something nice for it. So
Yeah, that was nice of
that
you.
sort of made my vacation because I could see how happy she was. So
Oh.
so if I can make someone else happy other than myself,
Yeah. You
it's
do all
a
right.
good week. I mean, I was happy with the Rhode Show. That made me happy.
Yeah.
But I was hoping to make someone else happy, and I was able to do that.
I'm glad it was your goddaughter. And speaking of making other people happy, so we hit up the Rhode Show, check, that's off the list. Now we have our live broadcast at the Oaks Tavern. That's happening next Saturday. Actually, this Saturday, the 23rd. We're going to be there right around 1 o'clock, and that'll be Steve's
Swan song.
Steve's last day. He's moving on from us to bigger and better things.
Yeah, now,
I mean, can you blame him?
Now, our sponsor, Dave, at the Oaks Tavern, I got some drag with him. Obviously, that's why he's pretty much sponsoring us.
Yes.
And obviously, I could easily get the key from him, and if we lock that door, then, now you can't leave. So
Yep.
I'm just saying, we have to keep Steve hostage.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we don't want you to further your career, man. We just want you to sit here and watch us for hours at a time.
If it is his finale, and it looks like it is, then
Yes.
we're gonna go out with a bang. We're gonna have a really good time at the Oaks Tavern, and
Yep.
our first remote,
Yeah.
our first on location remote, and hopefully the first of
equipment
many.
works?
Oh, that Joe.
I checked with the engineer. He's like, I got to look at that. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
well, we'll see what happens.
Glitches.
Yeah, man, we may just be screaming into the cameras. So we got that this week. Hopefully you can join us at the Oaks Tavern in East Greenwich. And I don't know, do you have anything else that you want to add before we get to the big show besides it being St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, we just covered it. I just feel a little bit like a peaceful week off, but I don't want to say exhausted. The Rhode Show kind of took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
Mentally, I just don't know what it was. I was ready and rocking, and I loved it. But I just feel like it was a big day.
Yeah.
It was a big day for keeping score.
Yeah, it was
and,
great.
like I said, the rest of the week it's just been just very methodical, just very peaceful.
Very
It's
nice.
just nice not to have to, not to be at work for 11 days.
You can watch the game or not watch any of certain games, but whatever. We'll get to that in our segment.
Yes.
But let's kick off the show because we always run out of time. So let's start with the NFL.
Like I said, I have all the respect in the world for those guys up there. They're my first team, drafted me in the first round. Can't thank them enough. And obviously we kind of just decided the mutual parting of ways was the best decision for both of us. And For me, it was just about moving on and getting back home, and I can't be more excited. And for them, it's about moving forward and turning the page. So really, that's kind of what we decided, and I think it's a great decision.
I don't know if we decided that, but whatever. Listen, I'm fine with that. I know a lot of people are just like, we should stick with him. It's not his fault. He had 3 offensive coordinators. He was messed in the head with Bill. But at the same point, I have no hard feelings. Bye. Boy, bye.
I agree with you, my partner. I don't think Elliot Wolf called him and said, we're looking to move you to Jacksonville. I think it's like, see you later. Bye-bye. Now, he can go back up the number 1 pick. They were in the same draft, so the number 15 pick goes to Jacksonville to back up the number 1 pick from that same draft. And obviously, you look at those rookie deals, 4 years, and usually with the option on that 5th year, usually most of the studs that come out of that draft do live through the entirety of it. And he didn't, 3 years and gone. And obviously it was downhill after that first year where they were 10-7. It was difficult. And again, I agree with you. There was a lot of things that were out of his control, but I believe he handled a lot of things poorly. And the result is you're out of town and you got traded to a team. You didn't see a team reach out for him that wants him to play right away. He's going to a team where he's definitely holding a clipboard, and barring an injury to Lawrence, he's not sniffing the field.
Nope.
So he didn't get another crack at it. He's still a young guy, so you would think that he would have maybe been, about 32 teams. Someone would have looked at him that, can he play right away for us? Well, I mean, you'd think he'd get another crack at it. But, with injuries now, look at the Sam Donalds of the world that sit for a long time after being a high draft choice, and they get another crack at it. And I think he just went to Minnesota. He sat with San Francisco. They like what he did there. He's still, and I don't want to say learn after you played 3 years, but I guess you can always be learning when you're watching from the sidelines. And now he may get a crack in Minnesota to play as Kirk Cousins heads for Atlanta. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of free agent frenzy. Yeah, and I do, before we move on from Mac, I do have one more piece of audio from Orlovsky saying, basically what we said about...
You want a 101 of how to ruin a young, promising quarterback? Look at what has happened with Mac Jones in his career in New England. We could point the finger at Mac Jones all we want, have at it, people. This is the walking example of how to ruin a guy that was a young, promising player. You give him god-awful coaching and then support him with absolutely very little help around him. And then you see the fall off a cliff. So for everyone that says, well, drafting a quarterback is a crapshoot, that's because you draft the quarterbacks and then you put them in situations where they have very little chance to realistically have consistent success at the hardest position in all of sports. 1, they had to do it. He lost the locker room, obviously had lost the organization. 2, you could draft a quarterback at 3, New England, if you want to. Don't play him because your roster is not even remotely close to being capable of supporting a rookie quarterback.
So that is my question to you, because the free agency, I feel like the Pats haven't done much of anything. Okay, I want to just hop really quick back to what Orlovsky said about having the room. And you and I have been doing this together for over a year now. Into our 2nd year, we've done 2 Patriots seasons together. And you've said this to me from Jump Street. And I agree with you, I don't feel like he ever had the room. I don't think he lost the room. I don't think anybody ever really believed in him. Whether it was the voice, the Flonase, all that, I just don't ever feel like he had it. So to say that for him to say that he lost it, I don't think it was ever, the respect was ever there. I don't think it's not easy going from Brady, and of course Newton was the bridge, then to Mac Jones. But I don't see him as that kind of guy. No, I don't see him as a leader. Yeah. So I mean, I think it was the right thing for both sides to move on. Mm-hmm. And as far as you just mentioned, your second question about all right, what's next? Obviously, you're still picking at 3, and I believe you're going to get a good, solid quarterback at 3. You and I last week were talking about Russell Wilson on your end. You liked Russell, and I said you said what's the alternative? I said maybe Jacoby Brissett. You said I love Brissett. I do. All right. So 1 year, $8 million. Great. And he reunites with Alex Van Pelt, who he was in Cleveland with a couple of years ago. Okay. I think he had maybe when he coached that one game. No, I said he called plays one game. He was the coordinator the full season. Okay. And in that season, I think Brissett had 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He was okay. He was pedestrian. Then he went to Indianapolis for the next year. I think he had 18 touchdowns the next year. He played more body of work. Yeah. And I think he was holding the clipboard mostly in Washington last year. So he's been well traveled. But he's a guy we had here in 16. You had him here, in the early days, backing up Brady and of course Garoppolo, who was cut this week. And I have a picture with him. He threw, when we had our charity football game, he threw multiple passes to me, just so you know. And I got to put that out on our Instagram. Did you snag it? Of course I did. What do you think this is? I'm an athlete.
Good hands team. So,
I didn't catch Hoyer's passes. I only caught Jacoby's.
So you're telling me if if there was a game and you were playing for the Pats, just say you had the pads on, you suited up, and the Pats scored late and they had to go for the onside kick. They they put you on the good hands team? Like,
no, not that good.
Oh, okay.
No. I can never get that.
They always put the guys on the good hands team, like up front.
I mean, I basically caught it off my face, but the point was, I caught it. So I don't.
Right there off the coconut.
No, it was. I'll send you the picture. Steve was like, I don't even want to work anymore, but I'll send you the picture. It's literally off my face, but I caught it, and it doesn't matter. So,
off the dome.
Yeah, but it's a big dome.
All right, but obviously we talked about this last week about what's next for the Patriots. It sounds like, and you see Brissett come in for a 1-year deal. He is going to be the bridge guy. He seems like the perfect guy for a 5-12 season. He seems like a beautiful guy to have in there.
7. I think we got 7.
Okay, but obviously the Patriots made a plethora of moves. During the course of the week, and I know a lot of people in Patriot Nation are not happy because they went after the big guy, which was going to be Calvin Ridley from Jacksonville. I mentioned him before, and the Pats went hard at him, and it seems like they keep losing out to Tennessee every time. Last year it was DeAndre Hopkins, who, I can live with, he's 32.
Right.
But this kid's a little younger and a little more dynamic at this point in his career. But the Pats lose out, and he gets $92 million, 50 guaranteed from the Titans after they said it looked like he was going to go back to Jacksonville. So the Pats hit and miss again.
All right, so Curran says that the Pats, it's not this free agency hasn't been that bad. Do you want to hear a little bit from him, and then we can?
And I've been hearing a lot of this on the radio today. Why didn't they do anything? Why were they aggressive? Well, the league year begins tomorrow, and the Patriots have already screwed it up. We knew going into 2023 that Henry, Duggar, Onwenu, those were the priorities. All of them had good years this past year, as did Bourne. Pre-injury, before he was after he was exiled last year. The Patriots re-signed all of those guys. Now, none of them are all pros, and any, had they left, would have needed to be replaced, and there were really no legitimate upgrades in free agency to do so. So the Patriots did the right thing here. Meanwhile, do you think Bill Belichick would have re-signed Onwenu or tagged Duggar when he virtually never retained players into their second contracts? They needed to bring these guys back because they are, on offense, the best players they had. And they aren't even Pro Bowlers. So what do people expect to happen in free agency? Think there was some test tube they were going to make a quarterback in? Patriots need to take their medicine, eat their vegetables, build the team.
And that's that. But, I mean, he makes a good point. That's why I wanted to keep that clip.
Yeah, and I'm with Curran. I'm not that down on what they've done so far. Now, obviously, they went after Ridley. You have to overpay when you're, I don't want to say desperate, but when you're looking to upgrade your roster and you need playmakers. I don't think Calvin Ridley's a $92 million player. He's okay. Don't forget, he had the mental health issue when he was with Atlanta, and then he had the gambling thing. He was suspended for a year. He's 29 already.
I probably should have chatted with him a little bit more than gambling.
You condone it. But no, obviously he goes to Tennessee to play with Will Levis. Okay, they said he was going to stay in Jacksonville, but the Patriots move on here. They did make a great move in the wide receiver department during the course of the week. I don't know if you saw this, but they did cut ties with the immortal Devontae Parker.
Oh, yeah, bye-bye.
See you later. You signed with Philly. Jalen Hurts
and he's probably going to have 10, 15 touchdowns this year, guaranteed.
Just the way Aguilar went to Baltimore, and he was effective. But it's disappointing. But no, I do like some of the moves here. Of course, we talked about the aforementioned Brissett. 1 year, $8 million. He can be the bridge to the number 3 pick, whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels.
Do you think he'll do the whole season, or he play 8 games and then give it to the rookie?
Well, of course, so many things with injuries and so forth and so on. Look for them to maybe keep Zappe as a third guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to have another guy in there. But I think that depending on whether they get Daniels or May, I think May's more ready for NFL to play right away.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong on that, but we'll see how that all plays out. We still got much to talk about when we talk about getting ready for the NFL draft. But the Patriots did, as Curran said, retain some of their players. Josh Uche, a guy I thought they would trade at the deadline last year. He comes back for only 1 year and $3 million. So that's a nice deal for the Patriots. Linebacker Anthony Jennings, a solid player. He gets 3 years, $12 million. I was a little surprised at that number. It's a little much for him. But Onwenu was the guy you had to have.
Yes.
3 years, $57 million. He's so valuable on that offensive line. Mm-hmm. He plays guard. He can play right tackle. He's an important guy. You had to have him. Patriots on the free agent market brought in another tight end, Austin Hooper. He comes in, he's well-traveled.
Hooper.
He was in Cleveland with Van Pelt also a couple of years ago.
Okay.
He played last year with the LV Raiders. He only had 25 catches. And I will tell you this, Jess, if you go back and look at the video in the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl when they were down, 28-3?
Yeah.
he catches one of the touchdowns early in the game from Matt Ryan. He was a Falcon at the time. So obviously the Austin Hooper 6 or 7 years ago was a premier tight end, and now he's just sort of like good depth piece behind Hunter Henry. I kind of like the move.
All right.
So I'm okay with that. And they got the linebacker from Cleveland. I think his name's Taki.
Yes, I love it.
So he's a nice player. 5 years.
I just like saying it.
Yeah.
Hooper and Taki. I mean, the lineup is great.
Another one of our own. We just Karin already mentioned it. Kendrick Bourne.
Yes.
Despite the leg injury, he's coming back healthy. 3 years, $33 million. We saw him. He was really good before the injury.
I know.
I like bringing him back.
I think he may be even better because I think sometimes Mac couldn't get him the ball. I know he was Mac's main man, but I feel like if there's someone better throwing him the ball, he'll get it more often. And I think he could get open, and Mac just didn't see it.
I agree with you, Jess. And the final move that was made late last week was the Antonio Gibson, the running back from Washington. He gets 3 years, $11.25 million. He's going to replace Zeke Elliott, who was fine last year.
All right, that was my question. Zeke's not there?
Zeke was a free agent, so he's really not there. No, he's gone.
Okay.
They're not bringing Zeke back.
All right.
So I think Zeke needs to go to a contender. I like what he did last year. I thought he was one of the better players on the team.
He was.
But he needs to go to a team that really needs. Maybe he goes back to Dallas as a third down back. But this kid Gibson comes in, gives us a little bit of youth, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. A lot of catches. I know one season he did have 6 fumbles. I'm a little concerned about his propensity to put the ball on the ground. But Gibson's a nice player and a nice change of pace to Ramondre Stevenson. I like the move.
All right. So you were also saying, because you brought up Zeke going back to Dallas, you were saying that there are some teams, we're talking about like what we've done, and there's some teams like Dallas that haven't done much of anything.
Well, that's what happens when your quarterback's going to make 59 this year, and you got guys like C.D. Lamb and Micaiah Parsons. Those guys, you got to pay those guys eventually. So I think they're a little bit.
They're worth it.
Yeah, they are, but they're a little quiet in free agency. And I think right now they're looking to just run that team back. That a 12-win team that can't win in the postseason. Yeah. They've been a surprisingly very, very quiet so far in free agency. But again, we saw this 3 years ago when the Pats came out of the gate spending money in day one. Sometimes you need to let it kind of like settle and then see what's out there, because a lot of teams jump the gun and they overpay for these players early. And we say it started March 13th, but guys were getting signed before that because it wasn't official till the 13th.
Okay.
That was as they call it, the
soft,
official, unofficial tampering period where you can talk to guys.
Okay.
So it's like everybody said free agency started on the 13th. It started before that. Guys were signing. Kirk Cousins got 180. I love his agent. I love that guy.
He prays a lot. And obviously that actually worked out. If there's no night games, I think he'll be pretty good.
Wow, Cousins, 4 years, 180 to go to Atlanta, which once again, and Russell, your boy Russell goes to Pittsburgh.
I know.
And now all of a sudden, where does Justin Fields go? I mean, it's drying up. I mean, does he go to Minnesota maybe? How many more teams are out there without a quarterback? You always could use a quarterback.
Right. But they're just not going to keep him. I get it, because they get the first pick. Yeah, I have no idea. And I feel like he's good enough. I feel like he could be somebody. He could do something for someone.
Well, you made a point, though. Technically, they could keep him, but that would be a disaster. You bring Caleb Williams in the number 1 pick. Imagine training camp in the media.
I don't think Caleb Williams mentally is there.
No, but he's going to be the number 1 pick.
He's going to be the number 1 pick.
So you got to get rid of Fields. He's got to go.
Yeah, but isn't he going to be cheap?
Yeah, he's cheap. Right now I'm asking. I don't know why he's not been moved yet. There's going to be a team interested in him.
Or maybe the Chicago's just going to be like, we're keeping both.
Well, Chicago, obviously, we've seen a lot of players being moved already. The Bears they made a trade for Keenan Allen, 6-time Pro Bowler, but I mean,
he was the Chargers, right?
Yeah, he's been hurt a lot, and they cut Mike Williams also. They're shedding salary. They saved like $20 million, so they just basically got rid of their top 2 receivers. So I don't know who Harbaugh is going to retool that roster and who Herbert's going to throw the ball to next year. But Keenan Allen goes to the Bears. I don't love this move for them, to be honest with you. I think his best days are behind him.
Oh.
So I think that's a move.
But he's not like the main guy, is he? Like, who do they got somebody else that was good?
Well, they picked up the kid. Yes, they signed DeAndre Swift in free agency because now Saquon Barkley got a 3-year, $37 million deal to go from the Giants to the Eagles.
I can't believe Giants fans are upset.
Yeah,
they're very upset.
They need to get over it. Your running backs, if you can get paid 3 years, 37 as a running back, you go wherever they give you 3 years, $37 million.
I know.
And I'm okay with what Saquon Barkley did. Okay,
all right.
He gave his heart and soul to the Giants. He was injury prone, but he left it all on the field when he was with the Giants. So Giants fans need to get over that. Derrick Henry, 2 years, $16 million to go to the Baltimore Ravens. That helps that running attack.
I wish we got him.
I think Gus Edwards left, so he comes in. Henry still can get it done, and he's got Lamar Jackson handing the ball to him. So that's going to be a potent offense. It's just a matter of getting over the hump in the playoffs with that team.
No choke job.
Yeah.
that sounded weird. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the NFL before we thank our sponsors?
I did mention that the Galloping Chicken was released by LV, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously they decided to go with former Colts quarterback Gardner Minshew, one of the best backups in the league. It's a 2-year, $25 million deal, and I think he will be the starter there. I know there's been some rumors about the Raiders trying to move up to get Jaden Daniels in this draft because he was recruited by Antonio Pierce at Arizona State in college, but I don't think they're going to be able to move from their position to get all the way up to 3, so it'll be interesting.
So
2 or 3.
So Jimmy's unemployed?
Jimmy is unemployed.
He probably loves that.
Yeah.
He's probably going to stay in Vegas for the rest of his life, bang a bunch of chicks and call it a day.
5 years ago, I still saw a path him coming back to New England.
Yeah.
I would have used him as the bridge guy for you. I'm all set.
Yeah.
I don't think he's competitive at all.
No, he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
He just wants to flash his. Well, he is good looking. He could just be
No,
a model.
he's a nice-looking guy.
He doesn't have to
I mean,
play. He plays the field in other ways.
Listen, I know we got to move on and get to the sponsors, but I would not mind. I would take his scraps.
Okay.
I'm just.
Well, he has been known to go out with porn stars. All right, and I don't know how we segue to our sponsors, but we're going to do it anyway.
Keeping score with Jess and Dean the Dream, sponsored by
Generations Adult Day Health Center. Generations is a day facility in Smithfield that provides services to meet the needs of adults with disabilities and the elderly. Their staff provides a range of adult day health services, such as case management, nursing, healthcare, nutrition, and more. At Generations, you're taken care of with registered nurses, certified nursing assistants, and plenty of direct care support staff on the floors at all times. With nearly 30,000 square feet of space, the state-of-the-art facility includes an open dining room, spacious physical and occupational therapy suites, a fully equipped gym and exercise room, and a TV movie theater, just to name a few. To find out more, visit generationsri.com. That's generationsri.com. Prout Mechanical in Providence, a family-owned and operated business. They provide HVAC installations, replacements, and maintenance services. They also offer indoor quality services to make sure that your home remains healthy and safe. They have licensed and trained technicians to keep up with industry standards and technology. They're also an authorized Mitsubishi Electric Diamond Elite contractor, so they can provide the best heating and cooling solutions. So get in touch with them today. Visit ProutHVAC.com. That's ProutHVAC.com, or call them at 487-4343 for a free estimate. It's the hidden gem in the historic district of East Greenwich, the Oaks Tavern on Duke Street, a laid-back, welcoming atmosphere with some of the lowest drink prices in town. Described as a grade A dive bar, complete with free pool, a jukebox, air hockey, and a great place to meet after work. It's a place where the staff treats everyone like regulars, and regulars treat you like family. Visit the last hometown tavern in East Greenwich. Check out the Oaks Tavern, serving cold beer since 1896.
Sexton's open. He'll take the high floating 3. And the ball finds his way right back to Collin. And he passes it away. He's turned it over to Hauser. There's a bump, no foul. And Tatum punishes the Jazz and that rim. They've won 13 of their last 15 and the first team to reach the 50-win mark. Dunn put a hand in the face of Tatum on a 10-point quarter. Holiday and Tatum. That's deadly combo. They know each other. Joe Mazzulla in his second year. Will Hardy in his second. 2 young coaches in this league, and they will meet again.
Celtics win, and they're doing all right. All right? We're all right. We're okay.
52-14. And, Jess, I got to be honest with you. I was impressed with the win versus Phoenix the other night because they played Phoenix twice in a week, and the first game they didn't have their big 3 of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. But in this game at home, after a long road trip, Celts come home and they beat the Suns 127-112. And in this game, they got 37 from JB, 26 from Tatum, and how about 24 from Average Al? 6 threes.
No kidding.
So it was just
He's like hit or miss.
They got contributions from everybody. But of course, that Utah game, you heard Chris Dunn's name mentioned from a PC
yes, our neighbor.
After just purchasing a house in Cranston, he did hit 2 threes in that game, and he's not noted for his outside shot. But I did get a chance to watch that Celtic-Utah game, and the Jazz are just depleted. They were playing without their best player, Larry Markkinen. He didn't play in this game. So the Celtics are rolling at 52-14, and it looks like Joe's starting to try to mix and match and rest some guys. Porzingis has been out 4 straight games with a little bit of a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Nothing major. As long as
I don't care. Rest him.
Rest them.
I don't care.
They're deep enough. You got Tillman on the roster now. You got guys that can step up. Hauser's been pretty good. Cornette's been fine. They got enough bigs. So I think the Celtics are.
I would save him.
Celtics are doing okay.
All right, very nice. And if you have anything else around the league that you want to do, I know we have a big segment in baseball today.
I know you always talk to me about Luka because you know I'm a Luka guy. He's a little banged up, so he's hurt right now. But MRI came back clean. He's going to be okay.
MRI on what?
It was his leg, so he has a little bit of discomfort in his groin and hamstring. So he should be okay.
Never mind.
I wish I knew why that was funny, but
I mean, they'll massage it. So, is there anything else that you got for me?
No, I think we're okay with the NBA. You know, Golden State's still trying to get into that. You know, that get off that playing thing. Which you know what, Jess? I know they did that with COVID. I look at some of these teams now out west. You got Golden State, the Lakers. At least their records are over 500. So if they were a 10 or a 9 seed, I can live with that. You look at the Eastern Conference, which is a little weaker. It's a little top heavy with Boston, Milwaukee,
huge,
and then you can look at the bottom. Some of these teams that are still in the hunt, like the Bulls, the Hawks.
The Bulls.
They're 6 or 7 games under 500. If you're not 500, you should just go home.
Yeah.
But when you're adding more playoff teams, I think 8's enough. Is what I'm basically telling you.
That's more money. Everybody wants the cash money. Everyone's greedy. All right, let's get to baseball.
Okay.
So last week we went through the American League. This week we're hitting up the National League. Before we get to any of that, are there any Red Sox moves that you want to get before I go through the East, Central, and West?
Well, obviously, I told you the bad news last week about Lucas Giolito and his arm injury. It looks like he's out definitely for 24, and unfortunately, it looks like that's going to go into 2025. So that's a big blow for the Red Sox, and I don't think they're going to try to replace him. If you jump around, I got some good news on Garrett Cole, who's got a little bit of an elbow injury right now.
What's going on?
Well, it looks like right now as we sit here, Jess, he doesn't need Tommy John right now. And there's a guy who's been very durable, but he had elbow
not in the playoffs.
He had elbow discomfort last week, and of course he was the Cy Young Award winner last year, 15-4. I think Cole's he's the anchor to that rotation, but he's going to be definitely out for at least 1 to 2 months. The Yankees are hoping with rest he'll be okay. He's been durable throughout his whole career. Let's hope that it's not a Tommy John situation, because now you burn a couple of months, and then if he needs the surgery, you're just like prolonging the inevitable. But they think that he could be okay.
Who would be the top pitcher then for the Yankees at that point?
Well, obviously he let Severino go. He went to the Mets. Rodon's going to have to step up. He's the guy in that rotation that's really going to have to step up. And another guy watch out for that can really give them some innings. I told you in free agency they did pick up former Cubs starter Marcus Stroman. Stroman got a 2-year deal. He's a little diminutive. He's small. He's not really durable. But when he's out there, he's an ERA guy. He'll keep the ERA under 3 and keep the Yankees in a lot of games this year.
All right. Well, then that makes me feel good. All right. Just like we'll keep you
I hope
posted on
Cole's
Derek.
okay. I hope Cole's okay. And Judge has been out with a little bit of an injury, too.
But
no, he's back.
too big
He
for
should
him.
be back in the lineup. I don't like him in center field. I'm just telling you that.
I know.
I'm going to say that again.
For the whole season, he's going to go through brick walls and
Yeah.
stuff. All right, so let's go through our preview of the league. We're starting with the National League East. We kick things off with the Phillies.
Yeah, you look at the Phillies, Jess, and like every year it's like they seem to be the team that just get in the dance, get into the tournament, and whether you're the wild card or you win the division, let the Braves hit 300 home runs, and we'll win 90 games, we'll slide in, and they always seem to be able to beat the Braves when it comes to the postseason. I love this team, and I love what they did. They re-signed their top 2 starters. I don't know where they found the money to re-sign Aaron Nola for $170 million, and Zach Wheeler got like almost $200 million. So they signed their top 2 starters. I love what Dave Dombrowski's doing there, putting that team, keeping it together, because I really like their chemistry. With Bryce Harper now playing first base, and Kyle Schwarber, I know he only hit 197 last year, but he did hit 49 home runs, and he walks over 100 times, and he's great in the clubhouse. So I'm a big Phillies fan, and I think they're a team that, like, even if they're just a wild card, they're a team that if they're hot at the right time, they could win the whole thing. Okay, and now the Mets. I remember last year spent a lot of money, thought they were going to be really good, and they weren't. No, because they banked on 2 guys that were past their prime. They went Verlander and Scherzer, and both guys didn't make it through the season. They traded both guys, both to the American League. One went to Houston. The other one went to the Rangers and won a World Series. But I think this team, they've been dying to spend money. Their owner Cohen, he's a billionaire. He wants to spend it, but he just can't find the right pieces there. Pete Alonso's the first baseman. He's good for 35, 40 homers every year. He's the only reason why you basically go watch that team. They spent money on Luis Severino 1 year. year, $13 million from the Yankees, hoping that he can resurrect after 4 or 5 years of arm issues and shoulder and elbow issues. So my gut tells me it's going to be a long season for the Mets. Other than Lindor and Alonso, there's really not much cachet on that team.
And the Nationals, the third choice in that division?
They're close. Like when we talk about the Oakland A's in the American League, this team's got a little bit more young talent.
Okay,
but they're going to be
That's
bad.
not good.
They're going to be
if
bad.
You're saying they're the A's.
Well, they're going to be bad. Rizzo, the GM, always puts them in a position where at least he rebuilds.
As bad as the Red Sox?
They're going to be worse than Boston.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because they're in that division. They're going to finish last in that division.
Oh, okay.
But they've got some young players. I mean, they're going with some reclamations right now. They got Joey Gallo, who played for the Yankees for a brief time.
Is he a lawyer?
No, it's not Pesci's character from My Cousin Vinny. What are we doing over here?
Second.
But no, they're a ways away. The kid C.J. Abrams is a shortstop. He's a nice player. They got some young pieces there. The kid Gray in the rotation's okay. They're going to be fun to watch. They got some young players, but it's going to be a long season right now in 24.
Is it going to be a long season for the Marlins?
You know, it usually is, Jess, but of course, you look at them, you look at Luis Ariz, the second baseman, who won a batting title back-to-back years, 1 year in Minnesota and 1 year with Miami, back-to-back seasons. He's their best player. And the kid, Jazz Chisholm, he was on the cover of the MLB The Show last year. I don't know if it's a curse, but he went out and had a terrible season. Foot injury. He needs to come back healthy, and he can give them. He's fast. He can hit for power. I think the Marlins will kind of be middling in the middle of the pack. Mm-hmm. They got some young pitchers that are pretty good that can keep them in games.
And the Braves rounding out the NL East.
Yeah, I mean, you look at them. I consider them a disappointment only because last year 104 wins. They get to the postseason. Ronald Acuna Jr. had the year of all years.
Yeah, everybody loved him.
40 homers, 70 stolen bases, never been done before. He had a knee injury in spring training. Luckily, he's okay. Their rotation's one of the best in baseball. You've got Spencer Strider, 20 wins last year with the Boogie Night stash. Mm-hmm. I love him. And, of course, Chris Sale's going to be their number 4 starter. And, of course, he's had a great spring. He's not in Boston anymore. He's been healthy so far. Yeah, and they got a great lineup, too. I just think the Braves, they would be the equivalent for you to say, kind of like what the Bruins are, meaning like, I don't want to hear about it right now. Get to the postseason and win in the postseason. Well, and that's how I feel about them. Until they do it in postseason, they're a disappointment.
Well, I was checking Godson's preview, and he actually has the Braves winning the World Series. So
yeah,
I guess
because they most certainly can. But it seems like they get to the playoffs, and like I told you, hit 300 homers. But I mentioned it last week to you. You don't win 10-9 in the postseason. You got to win 3-2. They have the pitching to do it.
Okay, and let's go to the National League Central, starting with the Cardinals.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Godson picked them as one of his wild cards. One of the greatest franchises in baseball, okay? They're always they do it top notch over there. They're going to go as far as their corner guys are going to take them. First and third base, you've got Paul Goldschmidt at first and Nolan Arenado at third. Those are the guys they're going to win because of those guys. They upgraded their rotation. I think double-digit wins with Baltimore last year.
Not Kirk Gibson?
Not Kirk Gibson,
okay.
no. But Kyle Gibson comes over. He's going to give them innings. He'll eat up some innings.
That's the last time I watched baseball.
Speaking of eating, they brought Lance Lynn back. He comes full circle. He started his career with the Cardinals. He's yet to put the fork down. He hasn't even contemplated the treadmill.
Well,
he gave up 44 home runs last year.
He's just big boned.
But he's very big boned.
Don't start fat-shaving people. We need all the listeners we can get.
He can win ball games, and he will come back. It's an older version of Lance Lynn. He had a little stint with the Yankees, but last year he did give up 44 home runs, splitting the season between Chicago and the LA Dodgers. But the moral of the story is that the Cardinals are going to do it with pitching, and they're brought some veterans in to bolster their rotation.
Okay, what about onto the Chicago Cubs? How do you feel about them? I always like their logo.
Yeah, and I think they got one of the best managers in baseball with Craig Counsell coming over from the Milwaukee Brewers. I think he can give them. He's worth 10 wins right there. He's like I put him in the category with the Alex Coras, the Tony La Russa's back in the day. Counsell can really win some games. He can navigate his way through a roster. Cody Bellinger, they sat back and said, go ahead, go on the free agent market. Try to get $150 million. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Comes back to the Cubs, gets 3 years, 80.
That's so embarrassing.
He gets 3 years, $80 million. He's not on food stamps either. Okay? And he had a great...
That's a big difference from 150.
Yes, but he had a great comeback year last year. He hit over 300 for them with 26 homers and 97 RBIs. He goes in that middle of that order with Dansby Swanson. Look for the Cubs to be at least pushing for a wild card spot. I don't see them taking the jump and winning the division, but they will be in the hunt.
Okay, we got the Brewers up next.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna really plummet this year because they lost their manager Craig Counsell and they traded their number one.
Wait, there's 2 councils?
No, Craig Counsell was the manager of the Brewers, and now he went to the Cubs. So he's managing the Cubs now, so he's going to manage it in the same division.
He's going to totally screw him.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. And the Brewers also traded their number one pitcher, Corbin Burns, to the Baltimore Orioles, so he's in the American League now. So you lost your number one pitcher and your manager, and they didn't really, they're going with a young manager. I think it's Pat Murphy, and they didn't replace Burns at the top of that rotation. And their closer, Devin Williams, is out for 3 months. He's injured, so it's going to be a tough year for the Brewers.
So all these people are already injured. It's just spring training stuff, like maybe pulling a hamstring or something like silly like that. That's unbelievable. And they still get paid.
They still get paid.
Wow. All right, let's move on to the Pirates. I heard that they have the best field in baseball, but they're also one of the worst teams.
Well, it's the prettiest field and it's the emptiest field. Okay, because the
a lot of room to spread out.
The product stinks on ice. Okay, they don't spend money. They go out and they decide to give Aroldis Chapman $10 million to come in and be their closer.
$10 million for him?
You're not going to get many save opportunities when your team goes 60 and 6. You win 60 games and lose 100.
Right.
But if you're looking for anything to be excited about, it's the catcher Henry Davis. He was the number one pick in the draft a couple of years ago, and he looks like he's going to be the starting catcher. So he's a young guy that could be the next great catcher in the National League. So look out for him. But it's going to be another long summer for the Pirates.
What about the Reds wrapping up the NL Central?
Well, I love what their brass did. They stuck with David Bell, the manager, through some really, really dark years, okay? And now the team is finally starting to turn around, and Ellie De La Cruz is going to be the reason. The shortstop that came up last year that took the league by storm, he was hot for a while. Cooled off, but I think that he's going to be a superstar. You may see him playing in the midseason classic, and they made some good moves in free agency. They bolstered their pitching staff. Hunter Green, a kid who's been hurt for a couple of years, with the 105-mile-an-hour fastball. I think the Reds are going to be I don't see a surprise anymore. I think they're going to be a team to look out for. I'm looking forward to the Reds. I think they could be a playoff team.
Oh, very good to know. All right, finally, wrapping up in baseball, we're previewing the league, National League. This is National League West. We're going with the Giants to kick things off.
Yeah, they signed Matt Chapman, the third baseman, to a 3-year, $57 million deal. But other than that, I always like watching them talk about ballparks. That's a pretty ballpark to watch games. And, this is a far cry from the team that won 3 championships, about a decade ago. Bruce Bochy's no longer there. So I think it's going to be a long summer for them. Brandon Crawford left to go to the Cardinals, the shortstop that was there for 13 years. I think the Giants are in for, they'd be really fortunate to get to break even, maybe win 80 games.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not great for them. But Godson's favorite team, the LA Dodgers. How do you feel about them this season?
Just the way I talked about the Braves, I'm not going to even actually waste a lot of time on it. You gave Ohtani $700 million. They got that lineup with Freddie Freeman, and now Mookie Betts is supposed to play shortstop for them. They bring him in from right field. They feel like they need more depth in the infield.
Wow.
The Dodgers are loaded. It's just a matter of winning in the postseason. They've come up short, and I don't want to hear about the COVID year where they won the World Series.
All right, stop bringing it up. He listens every week, and you got to drop it. All right, so we got the Padres after Dodgers. What do you feel about that?
Watch what I say with Godson. What are you doing over here?
We got to move on.
All right, Padres. Speaking of Godson, he picked Fernando Tatis as the MVP.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a monster year. The reason why I don't like that pick, Jess, is because I don't think the Padres are going to be at the top of that division. And usually the MVP goes to a team that's at the top of the heap, okay? So I think that Tatis may have the year that Godson believes he's going to have, but MVP usually goes to a guy on a winning team.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to be sort of in the middle of the pack. They didn't re-sign Blake Snell. They've already moved Bogarts from short to second. Soto got traded to the Yankees. So I just think that they're in transition. Maybe there was some issues in the clubhouse last year, but I just think they're going to be a second tier team, and I don't know. They've underachieved for all the money and all the prospects they've given up over the years.
Diamondbacks almost done with the National League West. They're going to be solid. No?
Well, Jess, they were a great story last year, but that's over now. Like, so you're not a great story anymore.
Yeah.
Now, what can you follow it up? And I think they can with Corbin Carroll, the kid who had 25 homers and 50 stolen bases as a rookie last year. I think that team's ready to go. Zach Gallen won 17 games last year, but he struggled in the postseason. He's looking to rebound and have a good postseason if they can get there. I think they're a team that's going to be good under Torey Lovullo for the next 4 or 5 years.
And wrapping up the NL West, we have the Rockies.
All right, so the Rockies are basically the Oakland A's.
Wow.
And I don't know why Bud Black would even want to continue to manage this team. It's bad.
So, all right, so worst teams in baseball you're predicting for this year? Red Sox?
Not compared to
not to these guys.
Not to the level of the A's, the Rockies, and maybe the Washington Nationals.
Okay.
Those are the A's and Rockies are the two worst teams.
Why are they so bad? They don't want to spend money?
The Rockies decided to give Chris Bryant $180 million, and he's allergic to playing. He hasn't played in 2 years. Came over from the Cubs. He plays like 30 games a year. It's a joke. But they spent money on him. Nobody wants to go there. Pitchers don't want to go there and pitch in that thin air with
true.
the altitude.
Yeah.
They're just a team. I don't know why Bud Black would even still want to manage that ball club, but they're going nowhere. They will hold up the basement in the NL West.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Well, that wraps up our baseball for this week. And once again, thank you for previewing the National League. You very, very, very in-depth.
Thank you.
You know what you're talking about.
Appreciate
We're going to thank our sponsors, and then we're going to go quick hockey, and then obviously birthdays and more.
Keeping score with Jess and Dean the Dream, sponsored by
Generations Adult Day Health Center. Generations is a day facility in Smithfield that provides services to meet the needs of adults with disabilities and the elderly. Their staff provides a range of adult day health services, such as case management, nursing, healthcare, nutrition, and more. At Generations, you're taken care of with registered nurses, certified nursing assistants, and plenty of direct care support staff on the floors at all times. With nearly 30,000 square feet of space, the state-of-the-art facility includes an open dining room, spacious physical and occupational therapy suites, a fully equipped gym and exercise room, and a TV movie theater, just to name a few. To find out more, visit generationsri.com. That's generationsri.com. Prout Mechanical in Providence, a family-owned and operated business. They provide HVAC installations, replacements, and maintenance services. They also offer indoor quality services to make sure that your home remains healthy and safe. They have licensed and trained technicians to keep up with industry standards and technology. They're also an authorized Mitsubishi Electric Diamond Elite contractor, so they can provide the best heating and cooling solutions. So get in touch with them today. Visit ProutHVAC.com. That's ProutHVAC.com, or call them at 487-4343 for a free estimate. It's the hidden gem in the historic district of East Greenwich, the Oaks Tavern on Duke Street, a laid-back, welcoming atmosphere with some of the lowest drink prices in town. Described as a grade A dive bar, complete with free pool, a jukebox, air hockey, and a great place to meet after work. It's a place where the staff treats everyone like regulars, and regulars treat you like family. Visit the last hometown tavern in East Greenwich. Check out the Oaks Tavern, serving cold beer since 1896. Want to remind you about the Oaks Tavern. We're going to be there live next Saturday, or actually this Saturday coming up, March 23rd. We'll be there right around 1 o'clock. We're going to watch some basketball. It's Steve's last day with us, so he is going to be celebrated. So the Oaks Tavern in East Greenwich. Hopefully you join us there 1 o'clock on Saturday. All right, so let's get to some hockey stuff. I mean, honestly, I think I've been so enthralled with basketball that I haven't even checked on what the Bruins have been doing. What's going on?
I feel like every week, Jess, I'm saying the same thing. It's sort of like, I don't want to say boring, but I mentioned last week they did pick up Pat Maroon in a trade from the Minnesota Wild. He's not ready to play yet, so when they get him back, he'll give them some physicality. I do love that move. The Bruins did get a win in overtime, which is a rarity lately.
It is rare.
They beat the Canadiens Thursday night 2-1 in overtime. They are now 39-14. With 91 points overall. Jake DeBrusk scored it in overtime, his 16th of the season. Obviously, he was not moved at the trade deadline.
Good.
I think he's a guy that can help you win right now, worry about the future when you have to. And rumor has it, I will close out with this, that this is not the first time Linus Ullmark was bandied about in some trade rumors. But I guess he has full trade, no trade. He can veto any trades. So I'm not going. And I guess this is the second year in a row. I guess they try to move him, and he's saying, I don't want to leave. I mean, I'm saying to myself.
Yeah, but if they don't want you there, why do you want to stay?
I know. That's
kinda weird.
Yeah,
like
it is
they
odd.
said, all right, Dean and Jess, you're off the score, and be like, no, that's okay.
No, I'm not going. No.
And then be like, well, we really don't want you. Well, nope, I'm still going to be here. Like, that's weird. If you don't want me, I don't want to be where I'm not wanted.
Right. Well, Costanza got canned once, and he said, I'm showing up Monday. He just showed up. So I'm just saying, I can't help it. I just can't.
It is consuming your life. Is there anything else you want to talk about hockey around the league?
Bruins are 39-14. I mean, listen, it's got a lot, getting ready for the playoffs before you know it, and it's the stretch run here, and they're second now in the East. So
when does playoffs start? April?
Yeah, around April, late
right.
April.
Yeah, hopefully
April to
we don't have we don't have a repeat performance from last year. Maybe less pressure now because no one expects anything.
And I like one of the great names in hockey, Morgan Geekie. He's been playing well. He had that hat trick a couple of weeks ago. So there's some guys that have been stepping up for the Bruins with some minor injuries with some guys. I'm going to be interested to see what Maroon brings down the stretch, not Maroon 5.
Thank you very much, Adam Levine. All right, let's get to birthdays. It is Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Who we got on the docket?
All right, Jess. The first one, we talked about the Utah Jazz the other night. Danny Ainge is 65.
Really?
Now, I know he runs the Utah Jazz, but to me, he's a Boston Celtic.
Always.
To me. Obviously, All-American at BYU in 3 sports, baseball, basketball, and football.
I didn't think he'd be that talented.
And played second base for the Toronto Blue Jays for a couple of years in his early days. And that's why Red Auerbach was a genius. He drafted him in the second round. He stored him. Said if he does, figures if he can't hit a slider or a curveball, we'll get him. And that's how he ended up being a Celtic.
Wow.
And winning 2 world championships as won 2 world championships playing with Larry Bird and the Big Three and DJ and all that. And then of course helped them win the championship with the Kevin Garnett trade as an executive, as a GM. He is 65.
I cannot believe he was that talented. And anytime I remember him playing, I always remember him being like a little baby, like a little complainer.
Yeah, he was the
whiny
agitator, always crying about calls. He never committed a foul. He played at BYU. He was a super athlete. He was All-American in 3 sports.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, who's up next?
Bill Miller is 53. Okay, so he won a batting title for the Red Sox in 2003.
Oh.
Okay, he hit .325, switch hitter, quiet guy. That's why you're saying Bill Miller. Okay.
I didn't even know what sport you were talking about.
So I have to tell you, in 2004, okay, he is the guy when the Red Sox are trailing 4-3 in the 9th when Dave Roberts steals the base.
Yeah.
He's the guy who gets the base hit up the middle versus Mariano Rivera to tie the game.
Oh.
And the Red Sox subsequently, we all know what happened. They went on to win 4. So Bill Miller, one of my favorite Red Sox, is 53.
Moving on.
Mia Hamm is 52.
She is?
Okay.
I love her.
I wrote in my notes here, I just write star soccer player. But when I think about Mia Hamm, I think about the fact I want to thank her for getting in the way of Nomar Garcia Parra's career, okay? I know they're married to this day, I believe, still married, but she got him out of Boston, okay? Because the Red Sox wanted to re-sign him, and she wanted him to go West Coast.
Yeah.
And when we traded him in 2004, he's the reason why we won the World Series, because we got rid of him. He was the cancer in that locker room, and she wasn't helping either because he was whipped.
Oh.
Okay?
Well, can you blame her? Like, look at him and look at her. I mean, you can't blame him for being... She's hot.
She's the score?
Yes. You think Nomar's the score?
All right, moving on to the other side for the entertainment
That's even
side.
more concerning that you think Nomar's hot.
Well, speaking of a guy who I think looks amazing to this day right now, he's 60. Rob Lowe.
Oh my God, he defined I don't understand.
Amazing.
Now, he makes no sense.
Now we could go on all day with movies, but we don't have time. I'm gonna go St. Elmo's Fire in 1985. It starts there. I mean, he's terrific. And
I think he's doing The Wall now or something on the floor.
And by the way, his show on Fox with the where he's he runs the fire department. He's in Texas. He's terrific in that show. 911 or Texas 911.
Yes.
Anyways, all right. How about this one?
Yeah.
Kurt Russell is 73.
Oh my goodness, Overboard, one of the best movies ever made. Big, and then what was the other one? Chinatown or something like that?
Okay.
Big something, Little China.
How
Big
about
China?
Tango in Cash with Sylvester Stallone?
That's a good one.
But I'll give you the one when he was a little young actor when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
How about he's in the episode called Jungle Boy, Gilligan's Island, 1965.
No kidding.
He was like 5 years old in that episode.
Oh my God!
6
So
years old.
I didn't know he started that young.
Yes. And
that's when he started dating Goldie Hawn.
Yes. And they're still together.
They are still together.
Yeah.
They never got married.
Oh wow. Make it official. I mean, well, not now.
Yeah, but maybe that's why it works.
Maybe that's why it works.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Last one.
One of the great under the radar actors. I'm going to go Gary Sinise is 69.
Oh, yes.
And I think of him as Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Okay. Terrific actor.
I'm not doing any of the. No voices for that. No, don't do any Forrest Gump, please.
What?
No, just don't. Safety first.
And those are my birthdays from March 17th.
Very nice. All right, so let's talk some local sports. Obviously, college basketball, huge. Your favorite time of the year. So proud of our PC Friars. I got to tell you, you said on the Rhode Show this week, like you said, I just let it win a couple. I honestly thought Georgetown was going to be a problem because it was the third time they were playing them. No problem. Then I'm just like, all right, well, whatever at this point. And then they ended up beating Creighton. So I'm like, oh, this is better than I thought.
I had some things that I thought I was going to, with matchups as far as the game when we went on the Rhode Show the other day, which I think we were fire.
I think so, besides you flicking off the entire state. Other than that, it was fine.
Impressive right there.
Check out our Instagram.
But no, when Brendan started talking about, who's the coach of Georgetown, I think we got off the tangent. We went on the tangent about Cooley, and we didn't think about the matchup. So I would have told you what happened. I would have said, Jaden Epps, the kid for Georgetown, he's the only guy that can put the ball in the cup. I put Devin Carter on him and let him just get his 30 and let everybody else see if they can make shots, and nobody did.
Could not make a foul shot to save his life, by the way.
He did a Jalen Brown. He was shooting from the field fine, but he's a ball hog, that kid,
too.
But that team's not good.
No.
And Ed did not overachieve there in his first season. So we bagged 3 versus Cooley. But now, of course, following it up with the Creighton game, I am so proud of this team at 21 wins without Bryce Hopkins since January. And everybody stepped up in this one. Devin Carter, congratulations. Big East Player of the Year for the Providence College Friars. In a season where usually that award goes to someone in the top 3 in the conference. To give it to the 7th place finish, that's pretty impressive. It tells you what a season he had. Because you know what? It's Player of the Year is the same thing as most valuable player.
Of course.
So you take him off Providence this year, they're nowhere. So I think they noticed that, and the coaches noticed that, and it was a great award. He led the Big East in scoring at 21.4 and led the Friars in scoring, rebounding, assists, and steals.
Yeah. No, he did
everything,
beast.
but he did everything but sell popcorn at the end.
Seriously.
I mean, he's amazing.
He wouldn't have time to do it, although he has enough energy in him to go up and down those stairs to actually deliver something.
Yeah. Now tonight's the selection show. I'm just excited just that we were in the hunt. I mean, I really am. This is just a dream season.
Yeah, so what you're saying is Kim English, my guy, did a good job this year.
He did a terrific job.
Thank you very much.
He did a terrific job.
All right, I just wanted the validation because I was all in on him, and I'm glad I was.
He's got the room. He's got the kids. We talked about Mac earlier in the show. You either have it or you don't. The it factor, Kim English has it.
Yep.
And I can see why the AD brought him over when Cooley left 11 months ago.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I'm thrilled with him.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, local basketball, that you want to cover or anything like that?
Yeah, so real quick, Jess, obviously I told you last week about how there's that second tournament in high school basketball.
Oh, yeah, so it's everybody,
so
right?
So it's down to the Final Four. Tonight, the finals are at the Ryan Center. So your Final Four was Lincoln versus Classical, LaSalle versus Barrington. The 2 winners of those teams meet up, tonight in the final at the Ryan Center. So that's, I love that. And LaSalle kind of slid in there after having a little bit of a disappointing season. Classical's a really good team, and Lincoln's been terrific.
Yeah,
they haven't lost a game all year.
Right?
So I do have one high school baseball player to watch this year.
Yes,
we've got Rob Mandarelli on the inside. He's all over the high school circuit.
Okay, very nice.
He's saying,
do we have to pay him?
No.
Okay, good. Perfect. So keep doing your thing, Rob.
I'll buy him a sud. I mean, if I see him before he
he has a hoodie. Does he want a crew neck?
Oh, wow. More swag. He says the kid to watch in high school baseball this year, he's saying, look out for Will Haggerty of Moses Brown.
Okay.
Now, I saw Moses Brown versus LaSalle last year. Their catcher ended up going to, I believe, Notre Dame or Penn State or somewhere like a big school. So Moses Brown's put some players into high college level. This kid, you're going to laugh. He's in the class of 27. He's already He's already hitting 87 to 88 on the gun. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's 15 years old. Okay, so look out for he's a freshman at Moses Brown. Look out for Will Haggerty. He's the guy.
Jeez.
So I think he can really he's a kid to watch all season in high school baseball as we start to mix things up now with basketball ending.
So when does baseball start? So they are obviously.
Oh yeah, they're already out there playing.
Games
oh yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
Really?
Well, no, I don't know if official games. Some preseason games, but it's that time.
I know. Well, I enjoy that, and I know you enjoy that even more. I just like that it's so light outside.
Yeah.
Like I've been staying at work, and I'm just like I can leave actually, but it's so light that I don't realize that there's still daylight. I guess I'm leaving later than ever because it's so light out. But I want to cover one thing because we have 9 minutes. This never happens.
I'm lost right now. I don't know what to do.
I know, and I almost wanted to slow you down. I'm almost like, we actually have time for the first time in 2 years.
Hold on. I got to go to my spreadsheet. I always have a category that says MISC, so I go to miscellaneous, which means I've still got things in the bond.
All right, so
I want you to bring up anything you've got to talk about because I feel like I get tired of hearing myself talk.
Well, I love hearing you talk.
So does everybody else.
But I wrapped up. I watched the full season of the Dynasty on Apple TV Plus.
Jerked it, Bill.
That show did nothing for him and his reputation whatsoever. So I don't even know if he knew going in there it was going to be like, we're going to make you look like the worst possible person on the planet, because that's how it came off. Like, it really did. I couldn't go to sleep, and it was late because I said, you know what, let's watch the last one. He's a dink. He really is. Yeah. And I don't understand, like, the whole thing with him and Brady. There's a point there when they ask about Malcolm Butler, and he says to the guy, the producer off screen, he's like, Matt, we already talked about that. And he's just like, well, you haven't talked about that with me. And then it's the most, I'm just going to look at the camera like, That's what he was. And I'm like, you're such a, no one wants you, by the way, which Jess was wondering, is he retired? And you said, no, he's not retired. He's just fired.
He's just, nobody wants him right now. I still think he waits it out and sees what happens with the Giants going forward. Maybe if they start out slow next year, Dayball could get the axe, and I still see him ending up back there full circle to get his Shula wins. But I know what you're saying. His character, it's difficult. It's difficult.
I don't think anyone's going to want him. Any player that sees what these other players were talking about, like got McCourty going on there, you have Danny Amendola. People actively, after they beat the Rams, wanted to leave because they could not stand him whatsoever. Okay. They said it was torture.
There's also a handful of guys, the LeGarrette Blunts of the world, that bounced around from team to team, had problems. He quit in Pittsburgh, but when he came to play for Bill twice, if you remember the footage, when he comes up to Brady and Bill at midfield after one of the Super Bowls,
you're the greatest.
He goes, you know, with an F-bomb, and you're the greatest quarterback, and you're the greatest coach.
Yeah, but they hated each other.
But you know what? Hardware.
Yeah.
Brady or no Brady, you still got 6.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you don't have to like the guy. I don't like the guy.
No.
But, you're very sour. But I'm going to get to it. I just, what happened was Thursday night, I believe I text you. I didn't know if it was Thursday or Friday when it was coming out.
It was
I wouldn't have gotten to it anyways because Thursday night was PC Creighton. And I had dinner plans with a good friend of mine, Kevin, and another friend, PV.
Yep.
One of our former sponsors who sounds at some point will be our new sponsor once again.
I would hope so. Yeah, I mean, that would be fabulous.
He's still working out some kinks. He's got PJ's reopened again. Things are great over there.
So nice.
Yeah,
those floors.
It is really nice. You could eat off that floor. Those just so shiny. Those hardwood floors, beautiful.
I'm so nervous they're going to get ruined. Yeah. And all the tables. Have you noticed? They're completely like there's no wobble whatsoever. Yeah. I'm not putting any coasters underneath it's gorgeous.
They did a great job, but of course PV looks like probably will be supporting getting back on board with us at some point.
I like that.
Yeah, and he's the best. He's so generous. We had such a good time with dinner. But the funny part about that dinner was PC was playing, and it was one of those, like, if you ever saw a Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon, where he's out and he's got his hands over his ears because somebody at the next table is talking about the Red Sox game. He's like, well, and Drew Barrymore's like, well, he taped it. He's nuts, and I'm nuts. Yeah. So I had to use the men's room, so I did look up at the TV, and I saw it was 31-26 at that time.
Okay.
So and then as the night went on, there was a pole that was in the way of the bar for me to see through.
Yeah.
So at that point, I just kept my head down. I didn't want to be rude to the guys and say I'm going to go up to the bar and watch it alone without the guys.
Of course not.
So at that point, the rest of the night, I just made sure I didn't take any.
They didn't care.
I didn't take any. I know, but I didn't take any texts. You text me, and I went home and I watched it as if it was live.
Live. Okay. Yeah. I just can't believe neither one of them wanted to check in, and I can't believe PV didn't say oh, they won.
No, they don't. My friend Kevin doesn't really care about sports that much.
PV cares,
and PV,
he was texting me the other night.
He cares about us. He cares about the brand and the show, and he's very privy to it. But he. I
think he has the same passion against Cooley as you. So.
What?
He doesn't like Cooley, and you don't like Cooley anymore. Cooley, the coach.
I'm over it. I'm over it. I said it on the Rhode Show. I made my peace with it. It's a year now.
All right.
It's over. And you know what? We beat him 3 times.
I know.
I hope it's enough tonight. But I mean, it's been a great season, a great ride. Friars gave us a lot to be hopeful for now, and a great 2023-24, and going forward. We'll see what happens in the future. I think Kim English is terrific at what he does.
All right, now to your MISC.
Yeah, so obviously, I did want to make, I know John Gazzaro, one of our loyal listeners, he's tired of hearing about the chimney and the knives.
First of all, it stopped.
No.
Well, I got a new roof coming.
No, you actually, since then, after he said it, you mentioned it on the Rhode Show, too.
Oh, of course I did. That was the Bus's ball.
So I'm telling you, the brand is, if I'm saying it right, Califian. That's the name of the knife set. You said Cousinet. You asked me last weekend. I didn't know what my new knife set. I didn't know the brand.
And how are they working out for you?
Well, I haven't stabbed anybody.
Well, usually that's not what you use a knife for, OJ. Thanks. My God. It's like cut some limes or something. Like, who goes to stabbing someone first? This is on tape. We have this. This is not good for you.
We're down to 1 minute left.
See, this is probably why we need to rush through the end of the show, because you talk about a new knife set and stabbing people. That's not what you use it for.
Let's see. Trot the other night?
Yeah, I did. We took a booth.
Booth?
Yeah. Sometimes we just want to talk to each other and not anybody.
I called it in for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was going to do it on my own, but I just wanted.
I mean, I don't have a lot of drag, but I felt like I could make a phone call even though I was on vacation. And I said, can I get a booth for Jess and Jess?
J&J. Yeah. So it was very nice.
Preferably the one that like they can really kind of duck. That first one when you walk in.
That's the one we took.
Yeah.
So Christian's like 1 or 2. I'm like, definitely 1.
Yeah.
Because I like
if you're in the middle, it's open season kind of right in the middle there.
Yeah.
But
I understand when you go to a bar, you're open to discussion, talking to other people. And that night, I just wanted to sit and be like, eh. So that's how I was. And I had a nice filet. It was fantastic.
Nice time.
Yeah, it was a fantastic time. So thanks for those reservations.
How was the service?
Service was impeccable. Jay was fantastic.
So do you know that Jason, who's one of the more personable waiters, very good personality. He was also my catcher for the Black Sox for 16 years.
He doesn't catch
And
as a catcher.
And the Salty Dogs. Oh no, he's solid. Now he don't play anymore. He gave it up a couple of years ago, but he was like I should give it up. but he knew when to stop.
I'd rather make money.
No, he knew when to stop. Like I mean, obviously as a catcher, your knees, your body. He said his body broke down, but Jason was terrific behind the plate. One of the top 2 or 3 catches I've had all time in my baseball days.
I just seemed like he's so tall. I didn't think he'd be back there.
Solid ball player, a good guy. Jason solid.
And I finally met Sophie, his niece, and my good friend's daughter. So she was a sweetheart. Yeah. She was hustling. She's the best. So it was a great time.
Obviously, it was still renovating. I don't know if you saw any fallout from that.
Yeah, I gotta get that ready for Easter.
Yeah. What are you gonna party? 15 coming in?
15. The Shiano family. Auntie Linda's gonna be miserable, so no one's gonna impress her.
Did I tell you I'm off the hook? I'm not working.
Damn it.
Yeah. So
I asked for Bianco anyway. My mom's gonna try and hook him up with my sister. Watch.
That's hardcore right there.
This is Keeping Score with Jess.
Close it with that.
We're going to find out if PC makes the tournament. I don't know. I hope so. We're going to report on that next week. And we'll see you at the Oaks Tavern on Saturday, 1 o'clock, Steve's last day.
Can't wait.
All right, very good. This is Keeping Score with Jess and Dean the Dream. Follow us on YouTube for now, Instagram, and, of course, wherever you find your podcast. We'll talk to you next week.